What it is, YouTube? It's your boy Alex J. We back with another one today, man. We're 122 days from the kickoff of the 2025 NFL season, man. It just came out this morning and said that the first game to start off the season is going to be the Dallas Cowboys against the Philadelphia Eagles, who just went and won a Super Bowl against those Kansas City Chiefs. You asked me, that'll actually be a pretty good, solid game to kick off the season. Two division teams, two big rival teams, two teams that have pretty big fan bases in themselves. The Cowboys get the most ratings as far as like any team. Like most, they call it America's team for a reason. So I think that that'll actually be a pretty good, solid game to kick off the NFL season with a team that just won the Super Bowl and, one of the most relevant teams in the sport. And other NFL news, Derek Carr just retired. He is retiring as a Saint right now. I wouldn't be surprised if he go back and do something and become a Raider for a day and retire with them or something like that. Shoot, man, your boy George Pickens, man. My boy George Pickens just said, you know what? Mike Tomlin and Omar Khan and finally got tired of, everything he's done. They done shipped him off over to Dallas, man. We got a 3rd-round pick for him. A 5th-round swap pick for next year's draft, man. And with that compensation, if you look at my recent videos, I was always against trading George Pickens because I always thought that, we might as well go through the developmental years with him. He's still young, still has a lot to learn in just this sport we call life, period. And I wanted to keep him around, but after a few days of sitting back on it, they say it's addition by subtraction. So I'm not, just too hurt about it. I'll always, at the end of the day, I'm a Steeler fan first. It's nice to have players that I feel like I can personally like and that I think are really cool, good guys and stuff like that. But, at the end of the day, I have to be a fan of the team and not a fan of the player. And I'm always going to stick with being that. So, that is neither here nor there. And so is Aaron Rodgers. He still hasn't come out with the decision yet so far. And also with that, if you've seen my recent videos, I was all the way against Aaron Rodgers coming around and playing for my Pittsburgh Steelers. But at this point in time in the game, us having only Mason Rudolph, I'm happy that we drafted Ohio State's Will Howard, who just came off winning a national championship. Might be the Steeler of the draft here in some years. We never know. He's won at a high level. He's led a team, at a high level and all those great things. So we're going to see how his career pans out, with him in the black and gold. And hopefully it can be something good. Hopefully all of these guys that we just drafted here in this last draft could end up being, some Hall of Famers later on down the line. And we can look back on this draft like, hey, we glad we drafted him. And seeing as how we did pass on Shador and Jalen Milroe and those guys like that, and waited till late in the draft to draft Will Howard, them just knowing he was going to be still sitting right there. Maybe it's something that they know that we all don't know. But I do know in college he was a nice talent. And with him and his size and stature, man, him being a big body guy like a Josh Allen, not saying, comparing the two at all, but having the same, frame, and like I say, playing at the level that he did in college, there's definitely some promise there. So we'll see where that goes. But going into the year with us having Mason Rudolph as our starter and George being gone now, still having DK Metcalf, I will say I like Caleb Johnson that we just took in the 3rd round in this past draft out of Iowa. I think that he go do some nice things in his NFL career. I think that he actually will probably come out his first year and do some nice things. You never know. Like that all-rookie team, I think he'll do some nice things this year coming out. But back to Mason Rudolph, at this point in time, like I say, it'd be great if Rodgers came over because that's like our best option, just period. But I'm really not wanting Rodgers to bring the circus with him. And, that's what's going to happen if Rodgers comes over. He's going to bring the circus with him. He's going to have, all of the extra media stuff that's going on, even if we winning or losing. Like, it's going to always be like, the Aaron Rodgers Pittsburgh Steelers show, not the Pittsburgh Steelers show with him just being another player. It's always going to be like the team is second almost to him. that's just another thing I don't necessarily care to go through. And knowing with our quarterback room right now and how we played the 2023 season, I'm you know the I'm not just too scared to go into the season because we've been here before. We went in a season where we ended up getting a playoff spot and we could only score, it seemed like, average 13 points a game. We always had to rely on the defense. Now, I know the defense is 2 years older from that point, but they've always consistently been able to, Mike Tomlin and that defense come up with the seasons that we've had. And seeing as how last year when we did have some quarterbacks that we could, think that would actually give us some promise with Justin Fields and Russell Wilson, we still ended up with the same record the year before that we had with Kenny Pickett, Mason Rudolph, and Mitchell Trubisky. So knowing that we going into this year with Mason Rudolph, Skylar Thompson, and Will Howard in our quarterback room, I'm not just all too scared. And knowing that Kenny Pickett was a quarterback that we reached for super far in the first round, and he had just one solid good year in college where he had the fake slide, and I get he was nominated for the Heisman, but the quarterback room is real similar to back then. Like Mitchell Trubisky was another quarterback. I ain't gonna say that he probably was reached for. He probably was just well, he had one good year at North Carolina too, and he ended up going to the Bears where the Bears are kind of like the Browns, another quarterback graveyard. They haven't had a 4,000 yard passer in their team's history. So, like I say, looking at that quarterback room from 2023 with those three guys, Pickett, Trubisky, and Rudolph, and then looking at this year going to 2025 with Rudolph, Skylar Thompson, and Will Howard, like I'm saying, it's nothing too. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing that's just so. And knowing that we went 10-7 that year with that room, and that we went 10-7 last year with a Russell Wilson who's going to go to the Hall of Fame, and a guy like Justin Fields who everybody in the league will say still has a lot of upside and is still yet to see his full talent be, just displayed and crafted like it should be. Who's to say that we can't go 10-7 this year with these guys? Like, we went 10-7 last year, and we wasn't putting up a whole lot of points. At one point in time during the season, Russ came in for a few games and put up a lot of points. But down the stretch, we wasn't putting up a lot of points. We wasn't putting up a lot of points down the stretch. So, and I guess Najee Harris is gone. It's a lot of key guys that are gone from the last few years that were on our roster during these seasons. Not too many on defense because we've just reloaded on defense through the draft. We picked big boy Derek Harmon out of Oregon, first round guy. Seemed like he could have a lot of promise in the black and gold. We got Jack Sawyer, another depth edge rusher, out of Ohio State. Hopefully we get TJ signed to some type of extension and can keep him around. But knowing that we got Alex Highsmith still, we still got Minka Fitzpatrick, we still have Joey Porter Jr., we still have Keanu Bitton, we still have Nick Herbig. We still got a lot of depth on the defensive side of the ball. It's really those guys on the offensive side of the ball that are gone now, man. Both of the quarterbacks, Justin Fields, Russell Wilson gone, Najee Harris is gone, Mike Williams is gone, George Pickens is now gone. We still have Jalen Warren, and we still got pretty much all the guys up front. It's really all our skill positions are all gone, and the guys on defense, not too many of them are gone. We won't have Dante Jackson back. He's going out to the Chargers with Najee Harris. And just some of the other guys off the top of my head. That's pretty much about it. But I think that we definitely will be able to come up with that that wild card spot again this year. I don't see why we necessarily wouldn't be able to. We went and grabbed DK Metcalf, basically replaced George Pickens with him. We went and got him, and for a few months, we thought that we would possibly have both of them, and would have been really nice if we ended up keeping both of them and had Aaron Rodgers, who would have saying what we could have done this year. But even going into next year, knowing that we gonna have Mason Rudolph throwing the ball to DK and then hand it off to Jaylen Warren and Caleb Johnson. I'm not just giving up all hope yet. We still got Pat Freiermuth at tight end receiving the ball. We just picked up Robert Woods a couple of weeks ago. Older, probably in his second to last year. Not expecting too many big things to come from him. But I do like how my boy Calvin Austin has taken a step with each and every year that he's been in the NFL. And knowing the kind of guy he is, he's a guy that I hope the Steelers do give that second contract to and extend him a long time, because he definitely deserves it, knowing how he was out his whole rookie year, came back and has not done anything but get better and better each year. And then who's to say what we possibly going to see from our third-round pick from last year, Roman Wilson, coming out of Michigan, winning that championship like he did with them. So I'm going to go ahead and get out of here, man. I appreciate everybody that's rocking with me. I'm always rocking with y'all. And I'm just thinking I'm not losing all hope on my Pittsburgh Steelers this year, and I'm thinking some good things are definitely going to possibly happen. We just got to wait till we get to September and October to see what's going on with them, and then hope whenever we get in those months of December and January, we win in those games. But I'm going to catch y'all in the next one. I appreciate y'all rocking with me.